ready for a garden update. So it's been just about a month. It is June 8th today, I believe. So I'm just enjoying my morning coffee out here in the garden. Look at all those weeds. You see all those, right? Behind me? Yeah. Also, this overcast thing the sky is doing, I'm really hopeful for rain today. So, and a bug is biting me. It's just, everything is just in full swing over here. So I'm gonna go ahead, turn you around, and show you guys what we've got going on. So this side, this is our current project. Down there at the end, you know, let me put my coffee down. That's better. So down here right at the end, we have a little strawberry rhubarb patch. I've been accumulating strawberry plants very slowly. They've been very hard to find. And I am up to 17 now, and I'm pretty proud of that. Multiple times I would go in and they wouldn't have any, or they would just have like the singles from like Bonnie and stuff like that. So I would dig through until I could find one that had like 2 plants instead of 1, and then separate them out. So we are up to 17. I do have 3 still in the house that I started from seed. They will definitely not produce this year. They're very small. So I don't know, maybe next year we'll have 20 strawberry plants. And then all along this side here, where that string is corn. So I need to go ahead and get that weeded out a little bit. And then this is watermelon and grass, because Ronnie was nervous about hitting the watermelon with the tiller, which I fully appreciate. And I'm glad that he did not run it right on up in there. So I need to weed that back too. I don't think the watermelon's doing very well. We had been kind of relying on rain, and unfortunately just some of our stuff has not come up or is not doing well. And I think we're gonna have to just get a little bit more diligent about watering it regularly. But let's see if I can point them out. There's one. And there somewhere is one. I can see it in real life. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I'm pretty sure we planted about 10. So there's more over there. I just need to go through and weed it out. Get all this grass out. Sometimes it's a pain looking at all these weeds. And then it always reminds me exactly how fertile our soil is. And that's the thought I keep in my mind while I'm weeding. Look at this little perfect feather. How adorable is that? Okay, moving on. So this is our carrots. Absolutely nothing came up, so I'm replanting carrots today. And again, I think it's that same thing. Like with carrots, you're basically eating, you know, a waterlogged root, for lack of a better term. And how does that happen if you don't have water? So, and then here we've got beets and turnips. We did a half row because they take, I want to say 2 months. I also just noticed they're getting eaten up. Oh no. So I'll bring some diatomaceous earth down and sprinkle it. We do have a ladybug there working hard, so that's nice of her. But we planted them half because they take 2 months, so we figured we'd do them, wait a month, and then plant the rest out. So we would get a half a row every month once they start producing, like once they're harvestable, I guess. So once those guys, okay, so these guys have been in the ground a month, and then we'll plant these guys. So next month we'll harvest those and replant that side, and then the next month we'll harvest these and replant that side. Does that make sense? Hopefully. I don't know. These are beets. This, I was doing the same thing, and I don't think Ronnie caught on to like what I was doing, because he planted this row and I planted that one, and he just did it. So I'm not sure if I feel confident enough to just plant in the in-betweens, or if I just want to do something quick in the in-betweens. I'm not sure. Or just leave it and then replant it in 2 months, or 1 month rather. This row, not including this giant grass, is supposed to be bunching onions. And I feel like there's some in there. I've just been so nervous that I would get in the zone, and they look so close to grass that I would just pluck everything. So this I wanted to give special attention. So I might do that one today. It's a little bit cooler today than it has been, thank goodness. All right, and then here we had radishes here. I already harvested them. They're in the kitchen, which is the most amazing feeling. And it's replanted. And then that right down there, those 3 little lonely lettuce plants, that's all we got from our seeds. Well, we did have a 4th one, but I accidentally plucked it when I was doing weeds. But it was very underdeveloped. It was very, very small. So, yeah, I don't know. But that's what we got. So I replanted that as well. These 2 rows have been fully replanted. These, let's see, this one's cauliflower, which I'm not sure what it looks like when it comes up, but I don't think we have any. This one is spinach, and it's kind of few and far between, and they're at different stages. So I don't know if that's a water-related thing, because you can see there's one there. There's a bigger one there, and then that's a little teeny tiny one. There's a little teeny tiny one. Here's one. There's one. So I don't know. I don't know. And I plucked a couple of those as well, because we have, let's see if I can. Okay. So when they first come up, they've got these 2 little long leaves and then the 2 round ones. And see how this one, the long leaves are super long? So he looks grass-esque. And like, here's another little spinach. But we also have these weeds coming up. So I was just kind of like in the zone and just plucked one out. I think I only did one though. So, I mean, once you're down here in it, you can tell there's quite a few coming up. It's just going to take some more weeding to really help them pop. Tomatoes, we've got this whole row here. That whole row there. Half of that row there. We have a lot of tomatoes. Scooch on down over here. So all of the tomatoes I grew from seed, which I am bewildered at. So we have some that are really big, some that are really small. I planted all different kinds of varieties inside, and we planted them in the dark. So we did not keep the seedlings separate. So it's just going to be, whatever comes up, comes up. It's going to be exciting. So yeah, this whole row, like a double row here. And then this guy from that white marker back, that's tomatoes as well. Lots and lots of tomatoes. This side we've got celery, and then we had 1 broccoli and 1 purple bell pepper. So we just kind of filled in that row there. And then here we've got 2 loofah plants planted between the white and the white. These are collard greens, and I just realized last night we can totally have these with supper tonight. Like, look how big they are. I don't know what I was waiting for. So I'm excited to get some of those in the house. This row's Brussels sprouts. They're growing. I don't know if they're doing it right, but they're growing. These are little bell pepper plants. They're so small. Everything I feel like is so underdeveloped, and we're just going to have to get better about watering. It's just tough. And then this side here, we've got somebody who thinks that they need our eggplant more than we do, I guess. I don't know. I've been putting diatomaceous earth on them. It's hard then when you go back and water. It's just the whole thing. And then we've got 2 little pepper plants back there as well. We have 3 winter squash plants and 1 cabbage. So I'm hopeful that I can use the outer cabbage leaves as well. We just bought it as like a seeds, like not a seed, it was like a started plant. And we didn't even think about like, oh yeah, you get 1 cabbage then. Oh well. We honestly though, we talked about it, we only eat 1 cabbage a year. We usually buy 1 in March for St. Patrick's Day. And that 1 cabbage usually lasts us all month because it's just the 2 of us. So, I mean, 1 cabbage is what we eat in a year, but this will be ready far before then. So next year, maybe we'll plant 2. This row is okra. I'm assuming some of that down there is what's come up. Generally on this stuff, that I've never planted before, don't know what it looks like. Well, almost all of this I've never planted before, but the stuff that I didn't start from seed or that isn't like apparent, I usually don't know until I go into weed, and then I just have to kind of use my best judgment based on other weeds I've found in the garden. So if I had to guess, this is probably okra, and he probably dropped 2 down the same hole. If I had to guess, that's probably okra. These I believe are bush beans. These are all bush bean varieties. Ronnie planted these ones. These are way close together. So I was not feeling well, and he's like, we got to get them in the ground. And I was like, okay, just pick what you want and go do something. So he did these guys, and he was reading the packet, and I think he just read like the plant spacing, which if I'm being completely honest with you, I go based on the thinning spacing when I'm planting. I don't have time to come back out and thin them and everything else, and I don't want to waste my seeds. So if it says you're going to thin down to 6 inches apart, I plant them at 6 inches apart. And that might just be foolish on my part, I don't know, but I can't stand the thought of going through the work of planting an entire row 2 inches apart and then chucking 2/3 of them. So I just plant them at the final spacing, and it's been working so well, or so far rather, but like, I don't know. So we're gonna have a banana amount of beans. This is a newer thing here. We popped this cattle panel up for a trellis. When we moved in, there was a small fence made of cattle panel, and we took it all down to open up the field into the yard, which is over there where we're tractoring the chickens and stuff. We used 2 of the cattle panels for the chicken coop, and then we had 2 left. So I told Ronnie, originally we were going to hoop them over here as well and trellis like cucumbers and stuff over it, but I think we're just going to go straight up, call it a day. That's what we have here. These first chunk between this white guy and that are sugar snap peas, and I planted them on center of the thing, so it's growing right there. I don't know if you can see it. And then we've got muncher cucumbers. Oh, this one fell out. That's why it's that direction. So when I plant them, I face the middle row. So this guy, I found him just like thrown over here. So I just kind of tucked him here, because I feel like I only did 2 or 3 rows of muncher cucumbers because we mostly wanted pickling cucumbers. So I'm going to have to wait and see. I mean, obviously there's a difference between a cucumber plant and a pea plant, and then I can re-put him where he actually goes. Because like this looks like a cucumber coming up. But does that? Don't know. So we've got white wanderer cucumbers. It looks like 3 plants. And then pickling cucumbers, they are coming through in spades down there. I'm so excited. So I don't think I can plant on both sides, but I could be wrong. Figure that out. And then last but certainly not least, we've got our potato patch here. So this side, from this stake all the way down, we have yellow Yukon and blue potatoes. And Ronnie planted them, and he doesn't remember which end is which. I'm pretty sure the blue potatoes are down there, but he doesn't remember how far they came and all that stuff. So we'll figure it out when we harvest them, which is fine. And they've just started coming up. He started them quite a bit later than I started mine. So like there's one, there's one, there's one, there's one. So we've got some potatoes there. And then this side is also potatoes. And I don't know how many times you're supposed to mound it. Also, we have so many ladybugs. I'm so excited. So potatoes, I did just like white potatoes. And then at the very end down there on that same side is sweet potatoes. And there's some red too. Just a small section of red. It was just 3 red seed potatoes from Lowe's. So that's the potato. So we have yellow, white, red, blue, and sweet for potatoes. So we've got a pretty diverse little potato patch here. And for just the 2 of us, this is more than enough potatoes. We will be trying to figure out who we can give them to for sure. All right, and then starting here, I use these little rock piles to separate them when I was planting because I knew I would not remember. So, I mean, it's pretty obvious that's a garlic and that's a potato, but you know. So garlic, which needs weeded, almost all the way down. I planted 99, or no, I'm just kidding. These are onions, almost all the way down, and then there's garlic. About where the grass takes over, there's garlic. So there's 99 onions, garlic, and then I think that's it, just garlic from there all the way up. I'm pretty sure, yeah, garlic, onion, and potatoes is what's in this row. So, yeah. There you have it. So today, my project is to stake this and plant it. Start on that side. Just a lot left to do, which is crazy. I think having a lot of these experiences, I think next year it'll be so much easier to plan these things. I'll know what we need. It'll be easier to tell myself, just go out and plant 2 rows and what have you. So far we've harvested, I think, about 5 strawberries, a whole row of radishes, and then we're going to be able to get the collard greens in this evening. And at least 1 more strawberry. So, yeah. So this is the strawberry. And then the rhubarb is the darker dirt, which it came from the strawberries, actually. That's what it was. So I had gotten a large pot of strawberry plants at Lowe's. That was the only way I could find it. And there was, I think, 5 in there. So I grabbed around it and pulled the plants out and planted the plants. And then I had a big pot, basically 2/3 full of the pre-fertilized soil. It's darker than our soil. So I used it to mark the rhubarb, which honestly, it was so smart. I rarely have these ideas. So for me, it made such a difference. And then the rhubarb itself came in these shavings. So I planted it, covered it with a handful of that darker dirt, and then put a circle of shavings around it, which helped us kind of figure out where they are. You can see my footprint is there. So there's a strawberry, footprint, rhubarb, and I know I'm not stepping on anybody. So once they're big, you can see them, obviously, but when you're still waiting for them to come up, it's nice to know where they are. So that worked really well, because this spot here, from this stake over, is just kind of this area. So the line is just laying on the ground. So it just kind of depends. And I might actually, because they're so far over, I might just make this a walkway. I'll just have to put a string up. I don't know. We still have a lot to do. A lot. Just because I'm sure somebody's going to ask. Yes, we plan on leaving all the strings. We had a discussion while we were planting about it, because we had laid the framework for about 4 rows, I think. Well, 2 double rows. And Ronnie said, okay, get those planted so I can move the string. And I was like, you're going to move the string? How are we going to know where they are? And so many people plant without anything like that. And it just, to me, I don't know this garden yet. Eventually in the future, yeah, you'll be able to see the paths that we've walked every year and stuff like that. But on new, freshly tilled ground, I don't know. And Ronnie really wanted rows, because he said you just plant down the middle of the row and you pull everything that's not in the middle, and that's how you weed. So I had to have a little bit of a talk with him about that, because the radishes, I went bananas when I was replanting them and did 4 for every one that we had before, because some of these, there's so much space. Let me flip you around again. Also, I'm super excited the bugs are eating this weed versus my beets here. But so there's 1 beet here in all of this space. So with the radishes, I put 1 in the middle, and then 2 over here, 2 over here. 1 in the middle, 2, 1 in the middle, 2. And we're gonna get so many more beets that way. So I did tell him, I'm like, just look for the plants. As far as obstacles we've had in our first month, I would say the biggest 3 maybe 4. The biggest one would be stuff not coming up. And I think that's related to watering. So we'll, like, those can be one. Stuff not coming up due to watering. The second would be weeding. So many weeds. So many. And I just have to remind myself all the time that, like, what was it, 2 months ago? This was an open field. It takes time to overcome that. So, and it's such a blessing to think about, like, the ground is just so fertile. Like, that's exactly what we need for our garden. So it'll be okay. And then third would be the bugs. And we don't have much of an issue with the bugs. What was it? The turnips, I just noticed I need to get those sprinkled. And then the poor dang eggplant. I don't know if it's going to pull through that, but I do have more seeds. I guess I could throw some more seeds in. I am excited a bit that we started so much of this inside. It would be really hard to see that happen a month from now and have, like, no recourse available, to just be like, oh, I guess we just lost it all, instead of being like, well, I mean, we can harvest through September. We still have like a good 4.5, almost 5 months, depending on how mild October could be. We'll just plant some more. So that is like a godsend for where we live, and that we started them so early. So we're able to see some of those things and get more plants in the ground to replace those that are already having hardships, which is really nice. So yeah, there you go. That's our first month. So we've got a lot of stuff growing, a lot of space that still needs planted, and a little teeny bit that's been harvested. So if you guys want to see our 2-month update, 3-month update, harvest update, you know what to do. Make sure to subscribe, and we will see you next time.